One of the key components to leveling up the quality of your videos is to have a good key light. But when you're searching for a light, it's easy to become overwhelmed with the choices and some of the pretty high prices. My name is Tom, this is the Enthusiasm Project, and today I want to review the FalconEyes RX-18, which I've been using as my main key light for about the past 5 months, almost 6 months. And this is not a sponsored video in any way. I actually bought this light based on the recommendation of Gary at the Everyday Dad, which is an awesome channel that you should definitely check out. So just to get a few of the specs out of the way, I purchased this light for just under $400, and that's usually about what it sells for. It came with some awesome accessories that I'm going to go over and explain in a little bit. This is an 18-inch flexible LED panel. It's the first flexible light I've used, and I love it. It's awesome. It is a bicolor light, and best of all, this light is insanely bright. You've probably heard me talk about this in a few other videos, but a lot of times I have it as an overhead light right here while I'm filming B-roll footage. And in those cases, I have the brightness set to like 5% or 1% even sometimes. Right now, it's lighting up pretty much this whole room, and it's at 85%. It's a really bright light. There's a lot to love about it, but before we get into that, let's explain where I was coming from. So this is not a super scientific review. There are people who are much better at that than I am. Last year I made a video about my favorite video light that I was using, which was this $85 fluorescent light that I had found on Amazon. For 85 bucks, it's an amazing light. In that video though, I mentioned that my biggest criticism was the durability. And wouldn't you know it, after about a year, I did actually break the part that lets you adjust tilting the light up and down. So now it's sort of stuck in one position, and if you push it too far in one direction, gravity takes over and it just kind of falls. So it's not reliable anymore. The light itself still works. It's just the mount that broke, and I spent about 45 minutes trying to fix it. And at that point, I was like, I'm spending 45 minutes on this $85 light. Maybe it's time to just upgrade to a better light. And one of the big reasons I wanted to upgrade too was because my old light did take up quite a bit of space. It had fluorescent bulbs and then a pretty big softbox to get that nice soft lighting. My first impulse when searching for a new light was to jump straight to aperture and look at the 120Ds. Those are kind of like the standard YouTube light right now, and we also have several of them at work. They are amazing lights. They're probably my favorite video light overall because they're just so well made, so versatile, such high quality. But unfortunately, in this room, I don't have the space for something like an Aperture 120D, especially with the light dome on it, which makes it a huge light. And if I'm getting that light, I want the big light dome so that it's really soft. So having a flexible LED panel that is super bright and only is about 5 inches deep with the softbox attached is great. It takes up so much less space. I'm not bumping into it anymore. And most importantly, I'm not bumping it into my equipment and causing accidents, which is something that I have done in the past. So the FalconEyes light is what I'm using as my key light right now, but for me to tell you all about it, I need to show it to you, which means I need to switch to my old video light that I have set up. I'm also gonna switch to a wider lens. But before I switch, this is the FalconEyes light that I'm using as my key light at 85% brightness, which is normally what I keep it at for this shot. I'm gonna switch to my old light just so you can see a comparison. This is gonna be full brightness of my old light. And this is my old video light. What you might notice is that it's not quite as bright as the FalconEyes light. And also, even though I did the nice little snap editing trick, there was a bigger chunk of time between that transition because this is a fluorescent light, which takes a bit more time to warm up and reach full brightness. The FalconEyes, since it's an LED light, is just fully bright right away. So this is the FalconEyes RX-18. This is it in its softbox. Basically what you end up with are these metal clampy mount things that go into the back of the light itself. And then this is what mounts on your light stand. I will say, which is really nice compared to my old light, this part here, this frame, is all metal, and this mount is also made out of metal, so it feels very sturdy, very strong. I don't think I'm gonna have any of the problems that I had with my old light with it, but if I do, it's detachable, so I could replace just this part, whereas in the old light, it was just built in entirely and I had no choice but to replace the light itself. This is 1% brightness. I mean, it's pretty comfortable here. As soon as I get closer to like 5 or 10%, turn it all the way up to 100%. A little bit of heat is generated, but nothing uncomfortable at all. It doesn't raise the temperature of the room, doesn't burn you or get that hot or melt anything. And like I mentioned, it is a bicolor light, so I usually keep it at 55-50 degrees Kelvin, which I think looks the best. My camera's usually at 4400 degrees. That just seems to give the results that I like the best, but it can go all the way to 5600, which is very blue, very daylight balanced, and then it can go all the way in the other direction to 3000 degrees, which is much warmer. What I'm reaching for over here is actually the light's controller. This is one of the things maybe I don't like so much about the light. It has this controller box right here. There's a power switch on the side, and then this is all touchscreen, so you can adjust the light just by tapping on here. It's super responsive. It feels really durable. It's made out of metal. I have no issues with this. The problem is the power brick is separate, so it's actually, it does come with a little mount that you can mount on the back of this, but then you end up with this big bulky thing. This does have a V-mount on it, so if you have a V-mount battery, you can power this whole light with your battery. I don't have one, so I just have to keep this big bundle on my desk at all times, and that's how I turn the light on and off. So let's take a look at the light itself. Right now, this is in the softbox, which the kit that I bought included the softbox. As you can see, it's not very big at all, but the way that you put this on is very easy. It comes with a sheet of diffusion that's just held in with Velcro, and then you can see there's some reflector. Here's the panel itself. And this is really all the softbox is. It's kind of just like a frame. And this is the actual light. You can see the rows of LEDs. They're alternating warm and cool. As with most bicolor lights, you do get the full amount of brightness when you have both LEDs being mixed. There, this is 100%. This is really bright. And since the back of the light does have Velcro on it, you can attach this other places. You can put Velcro straps on the wall. You can put it inside of cars, you can put it in all these different locations just using Velcro. No pun intended, but the flexibility that this light affords you is awesome. I kind of want to get a second one of these, so that way I have one that I can use like this and do all kinds of cool stuff with, and then have my main one just sitting in the softbox ready to go all the time. So it does come in a little case, which whether or not these are useful kind of depends on you. Since this light is durable enough to travel with, you might actually find yourself using this case to bring it around with some of the accessories. One of the things it comes with is like a China ball attachment. So if you go camping and you know the frustration of setting up a tent, that's pretty much what this is. This fits here like that, and then it goes over here, and then this fits in here. There we go. I did it inside out. Once you get it, you end up with this globe, almost like a China ball. Everything just attaches with Velcro. Now this is giving off just a beautiful soft light, and it's basically going, you know, at least 180 degrees, if not even a little bit under the light, because it's bouncing off of the room. So if you want really soft light, this is the way to go, especially if you're using an overhead light. Maybe you have two of these and you're getting just this beautiful, soft, no shadows light. The softbox is my favorite, obviously. The fact that there's Velcro along the whole border of the light also means that behind the light, there's virtually no light leak. Pop our diffuser back on. Everything just has Velcro all around it. And speaking of Velcro, do you know what kind of bird really sticks around? A Velcro. But it does also come with one more thing, which is a honeycomb grid. If you got trypophobia, I'm sorry. So whatever people call these, a grid, a web, a honeycomb, whatever, I call it the dark web. If you're somebody who's getting a big light and you want it to be a soft diffuse light, I really recommend getting this for your light, or getting a light that comes with it, because what it does is it lets you direct diffuse lighting. Normally, if you have a light that has like barn doors on it or something, you can direct that light, but the direction creates really harsh shadows. So what this does is all of these little squares direct the light, but they don't create harsh shadows. So normally I don't use this for my talking head shots because I like everything to be big and bright, and I don't mind that the light is lighting up the rest of the room. But there are a lot of times when I'm filming product B-roll where I love to have this on the light as it's overhead, and that way it's directing all the soft light right on the table, but the background is staying kind of dark and moody, and I think that that looks really, really good. This is a really simple way to totally change how you're using your light. Now there's one more thing I wanted to go over, and even though I'm not a lighting expert, I do want to talk quickly about the color accuracy, because I feel like this light is much more color accurate than my old light was. And I don't know if that's just because it's a better light overall, or if it's an LED versus fluorescent thing, or because you can fine tune the color temperature, but I have just found that I've gotten much better results in the time that I've had this light. And one way to kind of look at that, I've got this little thing rigged up here. If you ever watch Gregg, he has an amazing photo video YouTube channel. If you click on the descriptions in his videos, he'll send you one of these for free, but he calls it the Right White, and it's a white balancing tool. And it works really well. It's like this very hard, rigid plastic thing, and it's a very good representation of the color white. And I thought for a long time, actually, I was using my chair as a white balance tool, but when I got this, I realized my chair is actually not pure white, it's kind of off-white. This is pure white, so this is what it looks like with the FalconEyes light. Knowing that I'm not at daylight temperature, I'm at 5550 and my camera's at 4400, and I'm filming on a Canon camera, which has Canon colors. They usually lean a little more towards the magenta and the warm side, but this is what it looks like. This is what a pure white object looks like in that situation. Now let's switch over to my old light just so you can see a little bit of a difference. So this is the FalconEyes, and this is my old fluorescent light. It still looks good, it's a little bit dimmer, but what I have noticed is this light has a bit more of a green hue to it, and the FalconEyes has a much warmer magenta tone to it. It's almost like Sony versus Canon color science in a way. Totally usable, totally adaptable. I used this light for a long time in many videos, but I have just found that I get a better result with the FalconEyes light. So I think the basic light kit, if you just want the light by itself, is closer to like $320 usually. For about, I think it's $380, you get the kit that has everything I have here. But for under $400, I think this is an incredible deal. You get a great light, you get all kinds of accessories that make it really usable, really versatile. It's super durable, and it works great. I actually, like I said, especially making this video, I'm pretty convinced I want to get a second one so that way I can have one to flex and do all the cool weird stuff with, and then another one to just sit up there as my key light. And two of them would still cost less than a more expensive video light. Once you move past your camera work, learning to pay attention to your audio and your lighting are the two biggest things that are going to improve your overall video quality. So if those are the things that you spend your time on and you invest your time wisely, I think you will be delighted with the results. That was a very dumb way to end the video. I just wanted to make the delighted pun.